This video was made possible by the EA Creator Network. By the way, thank you for using my creator code at checkout on the EA app or thesims.com. Your support goes a long way. Shout out to EA for making this possible. Hey, thanks for slithering in. Today we are working on another starter home as part of my starter home series on the channel. So if you haven't seen any of the other starter homes, there is a playlist listed down below, but of course you do not have to watch any of those to watch this one. Today we are in Innisgreen. That is the brand new world with the brand new expansion pack, Enchanted by Nature. That's the name. I blanked for a second. I've had maybe 2 sips of coffee so far, so bear with me a little bit. We are in a neighborhood that I forgot what it's called. Give me a second to look it up. This one is called Everdew. So this world, or especially this neighborhood in particular, is so pretty. It's so luscious. It's so green. It's literally sitting on top of like a rock. And you can see it a lot behind the lot I'm building on, which I've already bulldozed because I'm getting ready to start another build over there. That is pretty much sitting up on top of a giant tree, so it's perfect for any tree house builds and stuff of that nature. So speaking of this build we're working on, for this starter home, I really wanted to make sure it felt very woodsy, whimsical, kind of like a little fairy tale cottage, but of course we had a limited budget. I was only able to use 20,000 simoleons. That is the amount of simoleons you get, obviously, when you create a new sim and you're pretty much starting a new save or a new game. This series in particular has actually, I feel like, helped me kind of understand budget builds a little more. For years, and if you've been watching my content in my channel for years, I have mentioned so many times in the past that I hate budget builds because I feel so limited and all of that stuff. I've mentioned it 1,000,001 times up until this point, but earlier, I think it was some point last year, is when I decided to kind of try and do a starter home series where I go to each world and build a starter home, plus with limited packs. So this one is base game and Enchanted by Nature only. Keep that in mind. And I feel like that's helped me a lot. Like, I feel like, I don't know, like I'm just a little more comfortable with doing budget builds and even limited pack builds. So that's a tip for all of you who maybe aren't so comfortable with doing challenges like that where you're limited to packs or even budgets. So keep that in mind. Just try it, and don't try it just once. Try it a few times because you might actually start to enjoy it and enjoy the challenge a little bit like I have started to. We're playing with terrain paint now, and as you can see, I use the terrain tool to kind of carve out a spot for a pond. I noticed that there's like a little creek or river kind of right off the lot, so I thought it might be kind of fun to think that that river maybe goes underground and then comes up to this spot on the lot. I felt like that was a little fitting. I'm trying to get like a chimney stack up here, but because I have that mushroom, I couldn't get quite the balance together. Speaking of mushrooms, I do add a ton of like mushroom decor around here. I think this pack would mesh so well with cottage living, and I definitely want to try that at some point. Now I'm trying to figure out the door situation. I wanted like a wide door, but I didn't like the wider door options that came with this pack. I mean, I like them, just not for this build in particular, right? So I used 2 single doors and kind of merged them as close together as possible. And I think that works, but obviously only one is going to be considered like your entry front door kind of situation. So there's that. We also grab a ton of things from the debug menu. Debug landscaping is definitely a must when you're doing a limited budgeted build, especially for starter homes, because then you can make the interior, not the interior, the exterior really look like it's overgrown or planned out a little bit. Otherwise, I tend to usually run out of simoleons after furnishing and things. So I'm trying to figure out the side of this house with the roofing, and I think it just kind of stays flat like that. Figuring out stairs here was definitely a bit of a struggle, but I think this is where I end up keeping it, and now I'm doing the floor plan, which I don't always leave in my builds, but for starter homes, I feel like I'm starting to try and put them because it's not really that much. Especially like I try to keep my starter homes at like a minimal tile count. As you can see, I have the tile count up there from the tiny living lot trait or lot type, whatever it is. So this way I can just control how much I have to decorate on the interior. That's just the little tip or trick that I use in order to make these starter homes work and feel like they're not too empty. You do not need Tiny Living to download this build from the gallery, though, just so you know, because I turned that off and you can just put it down as like residential. We are now going to start furnishing. I love this wallpaper. This one with like the trees and the bushes on it. I think that's just so magical. I also love this rug. I cannot wait to use it more often. In my last build, I used it to like kind of theme kids rooms, which I think is going to be so perfect for future kids rooms. And two, there's also a swatch that I really want to use that has a dragon on it, and I cannot wait to use that. You know what this pack kind of reminds me of, and the more I look at it and play around with it, it reminds me so much of that Sims 2 pack that was like kids room stuff or something, or teen room stuff. If you guys know what I mean, maybe I can look it up real quick. I found it. Family fun stuff. I remember enjoying that a lot in The Sims 2, especially with kids' bedrooms. And I feel like this is kind of a nod to that a little bit. Let me know if I'm crazy or if I'm maybe on the right track there as far as your thought process too. But either way, I just really love how mystical and magical all of these build by items are, but we're talking through the build. So here we have a little tiny kitchen and dining space. We use the counters and cabinets from the new pack again. I absolutely love them. And then I'm using this little tiny dining room table, but I'm pairing it with base game chairs instead. I didn't quite feel like matching them was the right call for this build with the chairs that came with this pack. Ooh, that bar back is so pretty. I want to use that for something else in the future. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, I didn't want to use the dining chairs for that room. I just kind of wanted to mix in some base game. Here I'm trying to figure out what kind of curtains to use in the living room. I think I end up sticking with the brown ones, although the red ones probably wouldn't look too bad. I also debated not putting those shelves as like a curtain rod because I knew it was going to cost some money and it was probably going to set me back a little bit, but that's okay. The bathroom, I did something fun with this one. I actually deleted the floor. I thought maybe that'd be a cool way to save some simoleons. I didn't have to worry about putting tile or any kind of flooring down. I could just use terrain paint. And that might be a fun trick for like the rest of the build. Technically, we probably could have done that. Huh, I didn't think of that. But in the bathroom, we don't have a sink. We were just able to fit the toilet and shower, both from the new pack. And even more reason why I thought deleting the floor was the best call, because those are very nature inspired. Like the shower and tree were not tree. The shower and toilet were definitely made out of a tree. All right. So here we put the apothecary table under the stairs because we need a skill building item. And honestly, that's like the big skill that comes with the new pack. So I'm excited to explore that a little bit. I don't know if I plan on playing in this build per se. I am actually planning on probably doing a little Rags to Fairy series. I also at the same time have to still do the Nature's Calling event. So I'm hoping that I can kind of combine those and hopefully you guys will look forward to seeing that. Now that we're in the bedroom, we are quickly running out of simoleons, which is pretty typical for my builds. I feel like for starter homes, I go as out as like spend as much money as I can in the kitchen and bathroom and living spaces, and then I get to the bedrooms and I'm like, oops. So up here, all we were able to do is fit a dresser, a bed, some fairy lights, and I think this planter, and that's it. That's the bedroom. But honestly, I think that's okay because you just need a place to sleep. And it is what it is. You can decorate it as you go. So now we are going to finish up the landscaping by using debug items and really try and make this blend in with the world a little more and make it look all lush and green. There is a lot of space on this lot. I forget how big this lot is. I can tell you in a second. 30 by 20. So there is definitely a lot of room to expand. There is room to start your own garden if you would like to. I probably could have put like a garden plot or something, but I didn't. I did think about it, but I kind of like the idea of someone just grabbing this build off the gallery and making it their own, because maybe you don't want to do gardening too much and you want to use that space outside for something different. So you guys have a full reign and creativity rights and all that stuff. So have at it. It is up on the gallery. My gallery ID is Symtherin. In case you are curious, it's the same as my username here. And now we're just adding some flowers, some orange. I use a lot of oranges. I have the red mushrooms around. And then there are those like blue and pink, like I'm calling them puffball flowers, but I'm pretty sure there's actually a name for those flowers. And I'm sorry, but I'm bad at naming flowers and identifying them. But they're very pretty and they're around the world. So I had to include them. And yeah, we're just grabbing some bushes. I think for the most part, that's it. Unfortunately, I was out of simoleons, so I couldn't use like the roof item plants that we got with the update. Those would naturally snap to our roof, and while it's a little buggy, it's definitely, really fun to play around with. So instead, I used some debug items and made them work. If you put the grid on, you can kind of get them to snap up there, and then if you page down, you won't see them floating. So that is what I ended up doing, but I couldn't go as crazy as maybe I would like to. I definitely would want to do another build similar to this, but with no pack restrictions, no simoleon restrictions, and all of that stuff. So let me know what kind of ideas you guys have, because I have been loving some of the ideas that have been thrown at me already, and I am writing them all down, and I'm hoping to slowly chip away at them, but I always love to hear your ideas, and if it's something you guys want to see me attempt, then I would love to do that for you. Also, in the comments, let me know if you purchased this pack or want a giveaway of this pack, if you have it in your game, if you're enjoying it, what you're enjoying the most. But our next segment is going to be hopping into live mode, because we are going to like kind of walk through the build a little bit, play test some things, make sure it's all functional before I put it up on the gallery. And I think I started telling you guys that too soon, because now I am adding these like debug stone items as kind of like columns, and I actually really like this idea, and I wish I had thought about it sooner, because maybe I could have done more with it, but I am going to keep that in my back pocket for future builds, because this is not going to be the last or first time that I ever play with Enchanted by Nature. I think it's quickly become one of my favorites, and up there with Cottage Living and Horse Ranch, and what else is some of my favorites? Cats and dogs, all right up there. I'm so excited to really explore this some more, but let's hop into live mode. Enough rambling. I will see you in a second. The more and more I am in this world, I am just absolutely in awe of how gorgeous this is. Especially this world in particular, where all the fairies live in this like tree house on a mountain kind of vibe. I just absolutely love it, and I can't wait to explore the rest of this neighborhood. But for now, we have a job to do. We have to playtest this starter home in Innisgreen. We have a random test sim here. Connie, I think she tested out a couple of builds for me in the past, especially starter home builds, so welcome back, Connie. There is not much to do on the exterior, but let's just take a moment and look at the landscaping with all the mushrooms, the blues, the pinks, and some of the orange flowers. I had so much fun digging through that debug menu, and of course putting some plants on the roof and on the walls. These are debug, this ivy over here. But that is pretty much it. Unless we can do something in the water. We can't bathe in it yet. It's too shallow here. But can you play in the water? No. I mean, that's fine. We're not too worried about it. Let's take a look at the floor plan. So our floor plan is pretty simple. You just walk in to the living space. We have a tiny little bathroom here, dining and kitchen. Upstairs, we have this little tiny box where your sim can sleep. Not much up here either. As you can see, we have our fireplace already lit, but I am going to put it out because I am scared of fires. But we are going to sit and make sure we can do all of that. I'm not too concerned about it. I think this is going to be pretty simple. Usually when I playtest a starter home like this, it's really easy. You can sit on there. Can you sit on the couch? You seem to skip that. Very good. Awesome. Next, let's take a look at this bathroom. The bathroom is... Ooh, I'm lagging. Hold on. Okay, we saved. I thought we were going to crash, but we are good. So anyway, where was I? This bathroom, it's just a toilet and a shower. The interesting about this is that there's no floor here. So technically this is just a ground, the outside ground. So we could sleep here. Can we do that on the regular floor too? Oh, I guess we could. But okay, never mind. I'm still learning to pack, okay? But I thought that was a cool way to kind of save on flooring. Oh my god, that toilet was so loud. I'm so sorry. And of course, we don't have a sink, so I'm not going to... Well, we have a sink, but it's only in the kitchen, so I'm not going to set it like I usually do. Usually you can set it to bathroom or kitchen, but it's going to be both for the purpose of this build anyway. It's too small in here. And we are in the shower, which is great. It's... I don't know if it's like counterproductive to be showering in mud or anything, but I still like the vibe overall. Over here we have our little dining space. Nothing super exciting here. It's just a 3-seater. I don't even know if we can get to that chair back there. Let's see. Oh, we could. Very cool. Awesome. And then I want to make sure we can have some kind of dinner. We don't have a stove, so we're going to have to go with a salad. But I think for like a starter home in this type of world where you're probably trying to be more one with nature anyway, you might not really need a stove, especially you can like forage out here and you can probably find ingredients and things to just eat as well if you want to do like that simple living kind of lifestyle. I also didn't add any lot traits to this build, but you definitely can. I think it would be fun to kind of add maybe that gnome one so that they fix your items, and simple living as well. There's plenty of space outside the garden if you choose to. So I'm going to put that away. And let's see if I can use the apothecary table here. It is kind of under the stairs, but look at that. Okay, good. I was a little worried about that. So the real test is going to be trying to go upstairs then. She is kind of clipping into the stairs, like her head and this book over here. So hopefully if you don't mind that, then this is perfect. And of course, if you do, you can move it. All right, we are going to have her go upstairs. Stairs are working. You acquired the apothecary skill. That's awesome. Yeah, and up here, I mean, ignore the plants kind of sticking in. I'm sorry. But this bedroom, you don't really need too much in here, I feel like. You just need a place to sleep, but even then you can sleep on the floor, so you don't even technically need this room. But let's try on outfits because I'm curious about this dresser since I have it with the bed over here. But okay, good. I think we're all set. This is perfect. This build is up on the gallery if you guys are interested in downloading it and adding it to your game. And just like that, I told you guys, super simple. That has been our starter home in Innisgreen. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the things. And as always, thank you to my members for supporting me in that way. You guys are freaking awesome. I will talk to you all in the next one. Bye!